All right, Hunter, I got your program graded, but I wanted to give you some feedback to help you in future programs, just to help you be a better programmer. A few of the things, go over the things that you lost points on and things that just make your programming better in the future. So let's take a look at it. Okay, let's start with your template. So I got the template here, and I want to look at your pseudocode first, or pseudocode. So it says, ask what is your name? Okay, because you got to have, looking at the requirements of the program, we have to have three interactive prompts, right? So that means three input statements. And the input should be assigned to variables and all that used in the conversation. So ask what is your name? Ask what is your favorite food? Ask how old you are. Okay, so that you've got three input statements planned in your pseudocode. Now this, type in your name, type your favorite food, that's okay, but it does not have to be in your pseudocode because that's not part of the code you're writing. You're not writing any code to do that. That's what the user is going to do when they run your program. When you run the program, that's when they type in their name, type in the favorite food, type how old. So that's does not have to be in the pseudocode. I mean, it's fine that it is. You know, I don't take any points off or anything like that. It's okay, but that's not required because this pseudocode is just to help you write your program. So this is good. Ask what's your name, ask what your favorite food, ask how old you are. But then your pseudocode kind of stopped. Did you not plan on printing anything? You know, when you ask your name, what's the computer going to say? Go say hello, whatever your name is. You know, so you didn't put anything in your code other than just three input statements. So your pseudocode's just kind of lacking. It cut off early. You need to say, then I'm going to print responses or whatever you plan on printing. So let's see. We're supposed to have three interactive prompts. We're deciding on a conversation someone have with computer. Assign it to variables. At least once use the indexing or slicing technique. I didn't see that in your program. We'll talk about that. Concatenation is great. You have the plus in your print statements to join the literals and the string literals and the string values. And pseudocode you got, as we talked about. Use comments, type of heading that includes name, date, and description of the program. You're missing on that too. And using meaningful names. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. So I want to take your program here. Let me copy your program right here. Copy. Paste. All right, here's your program. So like I said, you're supposed to have name, date, and serial. For Python, use the hashtag. That's the official way you do comments in our version of Python. Hashtag Hunter. Hashtag today is the 27th. And then hashtag chat bot conversation or whatever you want to call it. You can say it's 1.05 program. Okay, so we have that at the beginning. Name, date, purpose of program. All right, let's run your program before I get too many changes. That's just comments. That's not going to change anything. Let's run this. What is your favorite color? Crimson. Oh, that's the end of your program. I know you have three input statements here. I can see them. Input, input, input. But the only one that came up was this one. What is your favorite color? Oh, by the way, favorite is spelled with an O and an I. There you go. So I don't take any points off for spelling, just letting you, that's just letting you know to spell that. So people aren't bothered if something's off on that. But I'll just correct those real quick. All right. Yeah, I don't care about spelling right. Okay. So why did it only do this one and it skipped those two? Well, let's go through your program. So your program starts off with define main. So you said, okay, Python, here is the main part of my program. This is where the main part starts. So do this. So Python said, okay, so I'm going to put an input statement up there and I'll print that. And then, oh, wait a minute. Gets here, it says, okay, Python, this is the main part of my program, so start here. So it says, okay, I'll just ignore all this because I thought that was the beginning of the program, but it wasn't. Here's the beginning of the main function of the program. So I'll start here. Input, print. Oh, wait, here's another define main saying, oh, here's where main part of our program starts right here. So Python says, okay, I'll just ignore this too, and I'll just start here. So it said, all right, so I'll do this input, print this, and here's the end of the program. Okay, so now Python says program starts here, program ends here. I'll do everything in between there. And that's all it did. It's just what was in between there. So what happens here is you have told it to start your main function in your program 3 times. So it ignores the first 2. If we delete these, don't need that one, don't need that one. Now it says, here's the main part of my program. Do this input, print it, do this input, print it, do this input, print it, and then end my program right here. Let's see what happens when we run it now. Oh, what is your name? Mr. Brock. What's your favorite food? How about spaghetti? And favorite color, crimson. Okay, now it printed all 3, but it printed your name is Mr. Brock. Your favorite food is Mr. Brock. What? Your favorite color is crimson. So there's no errors in the program now, but it does not produce the expected output. And here's why. You printed your favorite food as answer, but you mistyped it when you wrote this line. That's a totally different variable. So it did save my favorite food, because if I print Anwar, if I print Anwar, run it again, Mr. Brock, spaghetti, crimson. See, it saved spaghetti. It saved it in this variable called Anwar. So we know it's there. We know it did the input and saved it. So if we change this to equal answer, now it'll print it in there. But here's the problem. You use the same variable every time. This said in our template, where's our template? Right here. Use meaningful names for all variables. Answer apparently means name, or answer means food, or answer means color. Answer has no meaning because it means everything. That's not meaningful. Let's change this one to say name. We'll call that one name. And so we'll say print someone's name. This will change it to be, how about fave food? Remember, we can't put any spaces in there, but we can capitalize any other words other than the first one. And so our brain will put a space in there, fave food. So instead of answer, I want to print fave food. And this could be fave color, or just color if you want. But now if some other programmer's looking at it and I just had some line later where I said fave color, they'd say, oh, that must mean favorite color, I'm guessing. Yep. Because it means something. That's a meaningful variable name. So now we can run it just to check. Let me cancel that. Clear this output. Okay, run the program. What's your name? We'll say Bob. What's your favorite food, Bob? Burgers and a blue. Your name is Bob. Your favorite food is burger. Your favorite color is blue. So that worked fine now. But each of these, it saves it. So I could print all 3 of them at the same time down here. I can move all these input statements right up here to the beginning. All right, I'm going to move the print statements down.
All right, first part, we got to define anxiety.
And I'll move this input statement up to the beginning. Oh, okay. Fave color, put this print statement together. I'll put a space between them. Okay, so now I have all the inputs at the top and all down here. And that's fine because it saves each of those individually. Bob, burger, blue. Because they're saved as different names. I'm not using the same name over and over again because, then it would replace it and everything would be the favorite color if I just use the same word all over again. All right, so that's just things to help you improve, but you do need to use meaningful names. Okay. The last thing to talk about is it said at least once use indexing or slicing. That is from last week's lesson, 1.04. Remember, everything we learn in here, we're going to use in a program. How could we use indexing or slicing? Well, that's when we just take part of a word. Indexing is when we take one letter out of a word. Slicing is when we take a few letters. So let's see, if we added a line, print, quote, the first letter of your name is. How about I do that? And I say, okay, so I'm going to take whatever they typed in name and I'm going to index just the first letter out of it and put a period at the end. This is how indexing worked. Remember, that takes the letter that's in index 0. Remember, Python starts counting at 0, not 1. So now it should pull the first letter of the name out. So let's clear the output. Run this. Bob Burger Blue. Your name is Bob. The first letter of your name is B. See, we just took that first letter of whatever they typed. Favorite food is burger. Favorite color is blue. So you left out that part, but that's an easy way to put that in there, is just use their name and just take the first letter as an initial or something. Yep. First letter of your name. But otherwise, it's not a bad program. You got the basic gist of it. You got the 3 input statements. You just had a problem that you kept redefining the beginning of your main function. So don't do that. The questions are fine. Had a problem with the coding part. Inserting the text. You might be a little more descriptive. The coding part is the whole program. So maybe a little bit more specific on that. But anyway, as long as you answer these questions, I'm good with that. But overall, not bad. You lost a few points here and there, but I just wanted to give you this feedback as we continue on and as you're writing more programs, so you won't get these mistakes on top of the new mistakes of the stuff we learned, because at some point it's just not going to run because you'll have problems. So we can fix these as we go along, make you a better programmer, and look forward to the rest of the year. See you later, Hunter.